2 minutes. Wow. That's interesting.
Mute.
Sorry. Welcome to the Namakwa UU congregation. My name is Susan Moody, and I'm a worship associate of this kind, caring, justice-loving community of seekers. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. The Namakwa UU Universalist congregation fosters a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, acts mindfully for the good of the planet, and inspires spiritual growth through a free and loving search for truth and meaning. Right now, during this COVID-19 pandemic, our services are taking place virtually on Zoom. Today's service will be recorded and posted on the namakwauU.org website by our webmaster, Chad Escalier. Please bear with us if we have any rough spots or delays, or if voices get broken up, or if the picture on the screen freezes. To improve the quality of sound, our technician, Chad, has muted everyone. Thank you, Chad. Please keep your microphones muted during the service. During joys and sorrows, those of you who are sharing will be invited to unmute one by one when called on. And all of you will be able to unmute your microphones if you choose to stay after the service to socialize during our virtual coffee hour.
As we light this chalice in honor of first steps, we're beginning even when the path ahead is unclear, with the courage it takes to trust that the way will reveal itself, that light will come to clarify our vision, that friends will be by our side. May the words, song, stillness, and common breath of this hour remind us that every step of the way is never one we take alone. Now, if you will, join staying muted with the congregational affirmation shown on your screen. Love
Is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Now, why don't we sit back and listen to What a Wonderful World, arranged and played by the international group of musicians who call themselves Playing for Change.
Blessed days and the dark secret night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you.
Our time for all ages today will be the timeless story, How to Help the Earth by the Lorax. Let's listen.
To BB story time. Do you want to read this book with me? Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more. How to Help the Earth by the Lorax with Tish Rabe, illustrated by Christopher Maroney and Jan Girardi. Hello, I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees and the fish and the birds. And I'm asking you please to help out the Earth. I'm counting on you. Together I know there's a lot we can do. First, I have a question, and I need to ask it. Do you know where the trash goes that's in your waste basket? It goes out to the curb, then a dump truck comes by, heaped with big piles of trash that are smelly and high. Some days after that, these big piles of trash will be buried or dumped in a giant landfill. Some of the garbage that's dumped there will rot, but most of the garbage that's dumped there will not. Some cities burn trash, but this trash solution creates lots of smoke, which creates air pollution. The good news? Things don't have to go on this way. We can reduce trash. We can start right away. Take your lunch in a bag, but don't throw it away. Use the bag or a lunchbox again the next day. Use both sides of your paper, and I have no doubt there will be much less paper for you to throw out. When you've read magazines and you no longer need them, pass them to your friends so they'll get to read them. Rather than tossing your old clothes, toys, and shoes, donate them. They're things other people can use. Put used soda cans in a recycling bin. Rinse them out when they're empty and throw them right in. They'll be made into new cans. This can I have here is made from old cans I recycled last year. Paper clips, rubber bands, buttons, and screws are things you will find that are easy to reuse. Put these things in a drawer so they're all in one place. They'll be easy to find and won't take up much space. When dead batteries are dumped, this fact I have found, the chemicals in them leak into the ground. Use rechargeable batteries, charge them, and then, when they run out of power, just charge them again. In helping the Earth, you can take it from me. We need to find ways to use less energy. Energy powers cars. It creates heat and light. Made from gas, coal, and oil we burn day and night. These are natural resources, and there's a limit to how much of them our whole Earth has within it. We need to use less, and I just have to say, there are ways to use less energy every day. When you leave a room, stop and turn off the light. Be sure to turn off your computer at night. When it's cold, wear a sweatshirt. And take the time, please, to turn down the heat, just a couple degrees. When you're doing your homework or starting to read, sunlight through a window may be all that you need. Animals and plants, all things alive, need to have water. It's how we survive. So water is something we need to save too. There are ways we can save it. I'll show you a few. When you get up each morning and stand at the sink and start brushing your teeth, take a moment to think. A lot of clean water is going to waste while you reach for your toothbrush and squeeze on toothpaste. Right down the drain, this clean water is going, so turn off the faucet and stop it from flowing. Spend less time in the shower, and you'll still get clean. Try a 4-minute shower. You'll see what I mean. To help out the Earth, please do something for me. Find a place that's near you, and then go plant a tree. Trees provide shelter and oxygen too. So plant lots of trees. It's what I always do. If we work together, the earth will get better, the land will be clearer, the soil will be wetter, the sun will shine brighter, the trees will be greener, the sky will be bluer, the air will be cleaner. And next time I speak for the trees, fish, and birds, I'll know in my heart I'll need only 2 words. For all that you've done, and for all you will do, I'm the Lorax, and I say a great big thank you.
This is the time in our, make sure I've unmuted here. Yeah. This is the time in our Sunday service when we share the concerns and celebrations that are part of our personal lives. We use a stone to symbolize each sharing and place a stone in this bowl that represents the blessed community of love that is Namaqua. This ritual acknowledges that we join you in your joy or concern and offer comfort as well as celebration. If you would like to share, just mention it in the chat and I will call on you. To do this, put your cursor on the bottom of the screen, click on the chat and type in your name. Also, you may want to share by writing your concern or joy in the chat box. Please be brief and know that everyone will have a chance to share more during our virtual coffee hour at the end of the service. And if everyone could help me, that would be great because it's hard for me sometimes to see them all. Linda Bell.
Unmute.
Yes.
There we go.
I'm grieving the sad loss of my good hiking buddy and intellectual mentor and good friend for decades, Linda Knowlton, passed away this week. She had been president of the board of trustees at Foothills. That's where we first met. And yeah, I miss her terribly. Her daughter is in considerable distress. Her daughter's in her early 30s and they were best friends. And her daughter doesn't have a lot of, well, she's a very private person, so she doesn't have a lot of people to share this with. So please put a stone in and think about her daughter and think about the wonderful life she led that was so helpful to the community and Larimer County in particular. Thank you.
We'll put a stone in here for Linda Knowlton, I believe you said, and her daughter as well. And our hearts go out to you. Losing a friend is one of, it's tough. Thank you for sharing, Linda. I think I saw Tulia had something to share.
Where is she?
Is she there? Tulia?
I don't see her.
Okay.
There
There's
she
a
is.
person who lives in Boulder and she's had a lot of brain operations and she's going to have another one on May 19th. So people can pray for her. It's the most serious one. And so
What's
Bonnie.
Okay. This is for Bonnie. Let's put several in for Bonnie. That's tough. And we'll all put her name on our altar and think about her and think about you too, Atulia, at this time. That's tough.
Thank you.
And then I think I saw Janet Gillette. Janet?
Unmute, Janet.
Okay, let's just wait. We'll go ahead and go on to.
Can you hear me? No.
No,
Can you-
now we can, yes.
Now you can. Okay, it was my headset turned down. To say that this man, Dean Wilson, was my cousin is not, he was a cousin by adoption. And I loved him very much. We were very close, love him. And he passed away on Monday. He had had a stroke the previous Wednesday. And this is just the longest week I can remember. It was just a horrible, horrible thing. He passed away. But the joy that I have is that his brother, Michael, my other favorite cousin, he and his wife came yesterday from Idaho. And we got to spend, my daughters and I got to spend about 3 hours with them visiting. I laughed so hard, my throat is still sore. we talked and laughed for 3 hours, all the memories and things that my daughters didn't know. And it was just the most wonderful visit. And there's a cat's tail in the way, but it was a fantastic visit. So that was a real joy. And then the other joy is that my brother Lauren had a birthday on Friday. His birthday was Friday. And I had intended to see him, but that didn't happen. And it's not going to happen until next year or so. I don't know when that's going to happen, but oh well. To be truthful, I loved my cousins more. I love my cousins. And so which is why it's such a terrible tragedy to lose Dean. Love him dearly. So that's it for now. Thanks.
I know how much Dean means to you. This is for Dean.
Thank you.
For your get together with Michael and the rest of your cousins.
Yeah, Michael and Debbie.
Michael and Debbie, those stories are always wonderful.
Oh, and prayers for Dean's actual widow, Pamela, too. the one who married him.
Okay. Thank you, Janet. I saw Fran has a joy.
Does she have something to share?
It's a rather silly joy, but on Saturday, the Denver Post posted my letter to Car Talk and gave me a suggestion about a problem with my car.
Only you, Fran. That's wonderful. Fran's a good friend. Okay, this is for your getting on Car Talk. That's pretty cool. Sharon Noor.
Yes, well, this is another kind of silly one, but a meaningful one, especially for Earth Week, is been waiting for the hummingbirds to come in. They usually arrive on April 18th, but we had terrible weather and I haven't seen any. And today one of them showed up. So I was out transplanting strawberries this morning and there he was. And so the hummers are back. So that signals spring to me.
Me too. Here's for the hummingbirds, and Mim has got something to talk about the hummingbirds, a parable, a little bit later. I think I saw Don Suriani.
Yeah, you did. Where is it?
It says today is Elizabeth's 27th birthday and Sarah and mine 29th anniversary.
Wow.
Okay, so here's for Elizabeth's birthday and for Sarah and Dawn's 29th anniversary. Congratulations. Vicki Clark. She said she celebrated her 81st birthday yesterday and is continuing today and beyond. You are a young looking 81, Vicki, that's for sure. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Catherine Stacy. It says she's joining from North Carolina where they're visiting family and learning about our country's history. Happy to be online, have the online option so I don't miss. So we'll go ahead and put a stone in for Catherine being in North Carolina. And then I see Norma.
Oh, I was just commenting on France because it was in the
Fort Collins, Colorado as well.
Okay, okay, yeah, well, thanks a lot. And Shirley Rawson. Oh, she's saying congratulations to Don and Sarah and Lizzie. And I'll go ahead and put my last stone in. Thank you all for sharing. That was
It
really
looks like
special.
Tim Black might be raising his hand.
Tim?
Where is he?
Yeah, Thursday was Earth Day, which means that Francie and I had a birthday because we were born on the same day in 1950, and we're Earth babies. So happy birthday to Francie, and me.
Well, and
Your
I had, my birthday was the 21st. I was not going to mention that, but yeah, I turned 75. It was really good to have a birthday, not so good about the number, but you know, I'm going backwards now. So
Right.
I have no more stones for that one, so I'm pretending to put a couple in. Okay. We usually have a video, but I'm going to go ahead and just say a prayer this time. To the God of our own understanding, the Spirit with whom we commune this morning, we ask that our minds be open, our hearts welcoming, our arms embracing. We lift up those whose lives are touched by sadness, by illness, by worry, or by loneliness. May they find comfort, hope, and healing strength in this community and the larger community. We celebrate those whose lives are whole and well. May they share their strength with those in need and find warmth and love in the sharing of their spirit. May it be so.
All right. I'm going to tell something about the hummingbird solution. Every time I see a hummingbird, it feels like a gift. They are so tiny, so fast, perpetually in motion, and so beautiful. They visit my yard only rarely, seeming to prefer higher altitudes. Many Native American tribes have legends about hummingbirds. They can symbolize peace, love, happiness, beauty, harmony, industriousness, and integrity or healing, wisdom, and endurance. There is a hummingbird parable that I first heard at a small conference in Manaus, Brazil. The Rotary International president had convened the meeting to address environmental concerns. He invited experts from throughout the continent. They were from disparate places and had never met before. I sat in the back of the room next to another staff member who could translate their Portuguese or Spanish into English for me. 3 of the speakers told the same story. Once in a vast green forest, a great fire erupted, sweeping all the birds and animals before it into the only refuge, a river flowing through its heart. Among the animals standing in the water was a magnificent elephant, proud and calm, occasionally using his trunk to spray water over his fellows. As the animal's initial panic subsided to a quiet dread, the elephant noticed a strange phenomenon. A tiny bird darted to and from the river, zipping to the water, pausing, then flying into the roaring flames. Again and again, the little creature would come, pause, leave, then return. It grew to annoy the elephant, who finally trumpeted, Hummingbird, what are you doing? Taking water from the river to the fire, hummed the bird. Why? Bellowed the elephant. You cannot possibly extinguish this blaze. Because everyone must do her part. That parable was so pertinent to the conference that it lodged in my brain and heart. It seemed to follow me. I saw it again in a book tucked into a hotel drawer in Taipei. And today, as we acknowledge the precarious future of our planet, we need to hear it again. There are ancient and young climate spokespersons. David Attenborough's witness statement, the documentary A Life on Our Planet, shows all who will see the consequences of pollution, deforestation, and overpopulation. He is 95 years old and tirelessly advocating ways to ameliorate our human impact. Attenborough urges us to work to restore biodiversity, rewild the wild, stabilize the human population, protect wildlife preserves, establish no fish zones, halt deforestation, and change our diet to include more plants and less meat. And like him, we can call attention to the disaster and suggest possible remedies. On August 20, 2018, Sweden's Greta Thunberg, then 15, sparked an international movement to fight climate change when she stood outside her school with a hand-painted sign, Skolstrek för klimatet, School Strike for Climate. Since then, she has found ingenious ways to confront world leaders, demanding that they address the issues and make the changes required if our planet and its plants, animals, and people are to survive. She has become a global phenomenon and the subject of a 3-hour PBS documentary. Actually, the two, the ancient and the young, have met amicably. And they are not alone. Most Native American nations affirm the interconnected web of all existence. If we can recover the knowledge that all life is sacred, we all may have a future. Amazingly, we now have a Native American Secretary of the Interior, Deb Haaland of the Laguna Pueblo. The Interior Department manages roughly 1/5 of all land in the U.S., as well as offshore holdings. The extraction and use of fossil fuels from those public lands account for about 1/4 of this country's greenhouse emissions. That may change. So there are Earth allies, nationally and internationally. How do we respond to the Earth emergency that manifests itself in huge fires and floods and outbreaks of disease? Refer to the parable. Remember the hummingbird in the burning forest. Clearly, one small bird could not quench the blazing fire. But if there had been legions of hummingbirds, each carrying water from the river to the forest could have been saved. Each of us, with others or alone, needs to act in defense of our planet. We know what needs to be done. We know what needs to cease. Together, we can help the earth survive. I think now's the time for the money.
We were all giving you our applause. It was very good. This Sunday, we are honored to offer our half plate collection to the Loveland Youth Gardens. Jessica Morgan, who is the executive director of Loveland Youth Gardens, will speak to us now about her special organization. Jessica, are you out there?
Yep.
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
That was really beautiful. I logged in right at the Lorax and then was able to enjoy the story. So that was really warming. Thank you, everybody, for the invitation to speak on behalf of Loveland Youth Gardeners. As Susan said, I'm Jessica Morgan. I'm the executive director. Our organization is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. So we have been in Loveland for a long time and have been serving the youth for generations now, several decades. So the Loveland Youth Gardeners empowers youth facing challenges to cultivate life and work skills, environmental stewardship, and community service. So I feel like I fit very well in today's topic. It's really wonderful. The goals for our youth are to develop job and life skills, and we use horticulture as a way to teach vocational skills so that our teens can hopefully come out of our program and be employed. That's kind of one of the main goals. And then the other one is emotional, physical support. So we promote active volunteerism through community service. And we encourage environmental stewardship by educating our students about natural resources and conservation practices. Each year, we serve over 300 youth, but our main focus is on teens who struggle with special needs. They may have cognitive, emotional, and behavioral challenges, physical disabilities, childhood trauma. They may live in poverty, come from single family homes. Many live in foster care or with their grandparents. They may be in trouble with the law or are even at risk for not graduating. So it's pretty broad, but that is the majority of our programming, those kids. We run 4 programs. In each of our programs, our students grow produce and they learn to harvest it and cook with it through a nutrition curriculum. They also learn to sell their produce at the farmers market and to a couple of our restaurants in town. And they also, our youth, for any of those who go downtown Loveland, 4th Street corridor, our youth manage all of the planters down there. So if you see flowers in pots, that's our kids. They plant them, water them, they keep them blooming. And then at the end of the season, they clean it all up and prepare it for the next year. So they're beautifying our community. The majority of our students do qualify for free lunch through Thompson School District. And so they also qualify for free attendance into our program. And we do try to source funding and grants to help bring these kids in who can't afford to be in our programs. Many of these families also rely on the produce that the kids grow. So each of the kids can take home the produce that they grow, and what they don't use, they donate to the food bank and to House of Neighborly Services. And we're in the process of setting up a way for them to donate to Ames Community College in downtown Loveland on Fridays so that those students, our college kids, can have access to free food too. Each of our students receives a monetary stipend at the end of their program. It is a paid vocational program, so they're not just out there weeding. All of their work is is returned with a paycheck, and they also get science credit for their school and community service hours, which are now required to graduate, which is really wonderful. So this year we are collaborating with many organizations, including Thompson School District and the Boys and Girls Club. We also provide programming to Community Connections. We are partnered with Loveland Downtown District, the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. We work with Restorative Justice, the School to Work Alliance program, the Kids Hope program. Loveland Historical Society will be managing their gardens this year, and the Trinity Lutheran Church off of 29th Street in Loveland. Those are all of our partners. We have a brand new garden the south end of Loveland off of Denver and First Street. We acquired the old abandoned BMX bike track at Boys and Girls Club, and we just put in a brand new garden, and we're starting programming in about 4 weeks, the end of May. And I would love to invite all of you out to visit the garden. We have a half acre, and we're always looking for volunteers or gardeners or speakers. If you have something to teach our kids, you can visit our website, lovelandyouthgardeners.org, and come out and see the garden in action. It's a great program.
Oh, wow. That's incredible, Jessica.
Thank you. It's a beautiful program, and it's making a huge difference. And it's really a special organization in our community, in our Loveland community.
Yeah, I'd love to see all you're doing. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. Thank you all. I hope you have a beautiful day.
It is a gorgeous day. We will now be virtually receiving our offering. To donate, click on the chat icon. Chad will display a link that invites you to give. Just click on the link to give an electronic donation, either with your bank account or with a credit card. You can choose also to designate your donation as a pledge for the collection plate or for our building fund. Alternatively, you can always mail in your donations to the church or go to our website, namaquauu.org, to donate electronically. I would like to begin with a poem by Joy Harjo, a Muskogee Indian artist who is serving her second term as the 23rd Poet Laureate. She currently lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I moved from. This poem speaks to the sacred connection we all feel in some way towards our earthly home. It is entitled, Remember. Remember the sky you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun at dawn. That's the strongest point of time. Remember her sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are the universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is. Remember. For me, the earth is sacred. My sense of spirituality is rooted in the indigenous belief in the concept of a life force. This life force goes by different names in the diverse Native American communities. There is a belief in a living universe in which there is a kinship between all things. Our earth is an extension of us. When it's in trouble, we're in trouble. As Tacha Ushte, or Lame Deer, a Lakota medicine man from South Dakota who died in 1976, said, "We can't hurt any part of her without hurting ourselves. We must try to use the pipe of mankind. This can only be used if all of us, Indians and non-Indians, together can again see ourselves as part of the earth, not as an enemy from the outside who tries to impose its will on it." Now I'd like you to time travel back to the first Earth Day on April 27, 1970. I was a young mother then with an 8-month-old son. I had graduated from college at Kansas State University the year before and was very much attuned to the anti-war movement and the power of protest. I had a sense of pride in the progress that we were making nationally with racial equality and women's rights. Although we had problems, I felt, we were taking steps toward resolution. Naive and hopeful would describe my personal young mother's perspective. That awareness that precipitated the first Earth Day began with Rachel Carson's seminal international bestseller, Silent Spring, in 1962. It raised awareness and concern for all living organisms in the environment and the frightening links between pollution and public health. Up until that point, Americans had been extracting and using enormous amounts of leaded gas in the operation of huge and inefficient vehicles. The smokestacks of the United States belched out toxic smoke and sludge with impunity. Air pollution was thought of by many as the smell of prosperity. But we all had our heads in the sand and didn't realize the danger that all of this was to human health, let alone the health of our environment. The student protests related to the anti-war movement had energized the young people to the power of public demonstration. Additionally, there had been a massive oil spill off the coast of Santa Barbara in 1969. This raised alarm bells for Wisconsin Senator Gaylord Nelson. He had become increasingly concerned about our deteriorating environment. As a result of this, he began to work across the aisle with conservative Congressman Pete McCloskey. They recruited Dennis Hayes, a student activist who organized campus teach-ins on April 22nd, which fell between spring break and final exams. This was chosen to maximize the student participation at that time, and it worked. Dennis Hayes was the right man for the job. He built a national staff of 85 to promote activities across America in a wide range of organizations, faith groups, and others. They are the ones who decided to call April 22nd Earth Day, which really caught on and created excitement across the country. 10% of the US population demonstrated for our Mother Earth and against environmental pollution on this day. There were thousands of protests in colleges and universities. This was a rare time when everyone, Republican, Democrat, young, old, farmers, city dwellers, business, and labor leaders all agreed. We had to do something to protect the fragile environment before it was too late. It was inspiring and things began to happen. The Environmental Protection Agency was created. Legislation began to be passed, which included the Environmental Education Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, the Clean Air Act, and 2 years later, the Clean Water Act. It wasn't long before the Federal Endangered Species Act was law, and the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act passed as well. This legislation has protected us for over 50 years. It may not have been enough, but it was a really good start in the 1970s. Since that time, our knowledge has grown as to the urgency of the environmental situation. Many of us have stayed committed to doing our part to slow global warming. However, there also has arisen an insidious group of people who deny that humans play a role in the climate crisis. Along with others, I find this upsetting and infuriating. We worked in 1970 to get so much done. Why can't we do that now? We joined the Paris Climate Accord during the Obama administration, but in the past 4 years, it seems as if all our progress has been undone in one fell swoop. This is a time of great uncertainty and trepidation. It's easy to get overwhelmed and uncertain of how we can help. In the Lion's Roar article called 5 Buddhist Practices to Tackle Climate Change, it is suggested that we must first define our ethical grounding and responsibility before we begin. Thus, it is not a matter of what we can do, but a matter of what we must do. Secondly, we have to get comfortable with the uncertainty of climate change. By sitting with that uncertainty, we will develop the courage to act responsibly and effectively through collective action in the present. And we must acknowledge that our emotions may become part of the mix. If we can accept the anger we feel toward climate change deniers, then we can redirect that powerful emotion and transform it into a feeling of empathy for all those affected by climate change. Then we can start building a more sustainable platform for action. It's important to be open to any new wisdom and be willing to reframe things in a positive light. We can make our activism not about what we're working against, but what we're working for. Last and most importantly, it's essential to find a community of like-minded people to work with. Such a community can be an inspiration and catalyst for change, as well as a foundation for spiritual life. And there are things we can do regularly that will make a difference. The Lorax mentioned some of these, but this is the list from the National Resources Defense Council. Speak up, talk with friends and family, write your representatives and let them know what you think and encourage them to pass laws to limit carbon emissions. Power your home with renewable energy where possible. Weatherize your home. Invest in energy efficient appliances. Reduce water by taking shorter showers and not running the tap unnecessarily, and switch to water efficient fixtures. Actually eat the food you buy and make less of it meat. Buy LED light bulbs. Unplug rarely used appliances and plug them into power strips with timers. Adjust your computer to power down to the lowest power level when not in use. Drive a fuel efficient vehicle and keep your tires properly inflated. Get regular tune-ups. Fly less frequently, take a train instead. Ride your bike or walk short distances. Use as little plastic as possible and purchase compostable products when possible. Last but definitely not least, shrink your carbon profile. Taking care of Mother Earth is stewardship. And the more you are out in nature, the more you understand this. There are so many ways to practice this giving back. For example, planting a tree in a burn spot, returning to it regularly to see how much it's grown and to make sure it's getting enough water is one. Going with your children, friends, and relatives in the woods to camp and hike. And remember to pack out everything you pack in. I know I'm preaching to the choir when I speak to UUs about our fragile environment and how we all must be in this fight together. But I think that the enormity of the problem and the continuing resistance to climate justice sometimes wears away at our resolve. If we look at the UU 7th principle of respect for the interdependent web of existence, it speaks clearly to our sacred duty to preserve the environment. Together, we are strong and resilient and can do much. It means we fully embrace something larger than ourselves. We can make a difference. I have a small meditation altar in my bedroom. It measures 12 by 18 long and 2.5 feet high. It holds a smudge pot, a sage smudge pot, 2 small figures of an owl and a coyote, a small handmade ceramic bowl with a Buddha sitting inside who has a tiny hole in his head to hold an incense stick. On this altar, I place objects that represent the focus of my daily meditations. My newest focus is our Mother Earth. I bring in a natural object that caught my attention the day before and focus on it as I say the following affirmation. May I be a steward of Mother Earth. May I only use what I need and treat animals and plants as my sisters and brothers. I would like to challenge all of you to share my concern for our blessed planet and have you develop an earth awareness practice that speaks to you and motivates you to do what you can to fight the good fight for Uncha Maka. I don't think I pronounced that right. That is the Native American word for Mother Earth. May it be so.
We're missing the boat.
Chad, it's time for Blue Boat home.
All right, one moment.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat. I give thanks to the waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Wow. Now Susan will extinguish the chalice, signaling that our time together is finished, but reminding us that our work is not done. We have a lot to do. Unmute, Susan.
At least I'm consistent. As we end our time together, may we celebrate Earth and our shared lives. May we recognize our connections to all that is in and on Earth. May we truly and deeply value the inherent worth of all in this awesome interconnected web of existence. May we commit ourselves to a new way, and may we hold on to each other and our commitments to our sacred planet. Gently yet firmly, blessed be, and amen. Now it's time for our announcements. The first one, yes, we will be having an auction. It will have two components, an online auction with bidding weeks before the Zoom event, and the Zoom event will be held on Saturday, May 22nd from 7 to 9 p.m. For more information, contact Doug Stewart at dougestewart@gmail.com. The Salute Family Health Center has appointments available for COVID vaccine. The details for scheduling an appointment is in the email blast. Now, the contest we've been waiting for the results of, the Namaqua survey sweepstakes. Well, Barbara Fleming and Tim Black have won. Barbara won a pecan pie, and Tim Black got a bouquet of flowers. Congratulations, Tim and Barbara. And if you haven't filled out the survey, please do so soon. The link for doing so is in the email blast. Kent Robertson is now living at Brookdale Assisted Living and would like visitors. Also, his daughter has furniture items from Kent's home that she would love to give to UUs who could use them. For further information about the address of where Kent lives and the coordination of that, you might talk with the pastoral care team. The Social Justice Initiative wants to make you aware of two bills regarding affordable housing that need your attention. Your emails and tweets would be greatly appreciated. Contact Doug Stewart and look in the email blast for further information. Janan has been running a parent support and discussion group during the month of April on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 7:30. Please contact Janan Bright with an RSVP if you're interested in attending, and she'll send you a link and also reminders. On Thursdays, Janan and I lead a meditation group at 10:30 in Zoom room 2. So if you want any more further information, contact Janan or me. Go ahead and look in the email blast. The Social Sisterhood also is meeting on Thursdays from 12 to 1 in Zoom room 1. Contact Nancy Amsler for more information if you're interested. And just a reminder, we have 2 Zoom rooms available for meetings, and there are lots of times open for that. So if you have any interest in that, contact Doug, but it's pretty easy to go in and check out the Zoom rooms on your own too. Okay, it's time for, we are over a little bit, sorry about that. Time for our virtual coffee hour. Chad will send you a link to enter one of the chat rooms. When coffee hour is over, you will be directed back to the main Zoom room before saying goodbye to all your UU compadres. Namaste all.
So is it a one-time, it's a single breakout room, Chad?
Yeah, I think, yep.
Oh, okay.
That's my understanding.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Is that it?
I guess so. I've got a few chores to do, so I think I'm just going to head out.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat and go back out in the garden.
Enjoy.
Yeah, you too. Everybody have a beautiful day.
You too.